dabbling a little bit in tarot. And so
Mhm.
like tell me what that means and what that looks like. Cause I'm gonna give you stuff, but I don't want to like give you stuff you already have.
Yeah. So I have been practicing like dabbling in tarot for a really long time actually. I'd say like 10 years, like to be honest with you. I'm obviously like creative and I really love the beauty of cards. And ironically, I don't know where my own cards are currently. I think they might be. I'm not sure, but I do use them pretty frequently. Um, I just reorganized everything, so I just don't know where they are. But I call like when my friends like ask me about tarot, I'm like, it's therapy flashcards.
Hmm.
Like, let's not pretend. I do believe in a higher power, and I do believe that the universe is on my side. Um, Actually, yeah, there they are. I believe the universe is on my side, but mostly I believe in my own innate ability to respond to artwork. So, like when I see something, like what's the top card here? Like okay, three of swords, like I can tell that this is so like you can feel, and so it's like how I feel to the card. And so I like the concrete, like I'm very type A, so I like, okay, ace to 10 is a journey, it starts at the beginning, 10's the end, the court represents people, major arcana, big energies, so like I know all of this. And I think sometimes I interpret things a little bit too strictly, and I'm not
Hmm.
as fluid with my interpretations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
That's great. I feel very similarly. I like having art to respond to.
Mhm.
Um, and I think like in terms of like divination tools, I think it's one of the reasons tarot just sticks around for me too, is like
Mhm.
there's something like I can look at this and I can see a picture emerging and I can like put the
Mhm.
pieces together. Cool. Yeah, so I do readings a little more intuitively. I don't have a lot of I'll occasionally I'm more of a dabbler in the facts. I don't dabble so much
Mhm.
in like the huge structure of things, although like I do find it helpful sometimes when you're trying to
Mhm.
put things into perspective. Um so like for example, I might find that the cards don't go in order of like 1 to 10, but they are like a progression still in
Right.
your
Exactly.
evolutionary journey. Um, and then the spread itself, this started as just like, ooh, what a fun thing to do, and I would offer it to people. And the more I do it, the more wisdom I get around it is that it's not necessarily that these things are tied directly to the months that I'm going to give them to you in, but they are more like stepping stones through your year. So they're more of
Mhm.
a journey. And it may be that like this particular stepping stone holds 1 week in that month, but the one before it holds like a month and a half because of the
Right.
way it spans in terms of energy. In other words, like energy bleeds over. It's not bound to the calendars that we create as humans. But this can be a really good tool for just helping you kind of understand where you are in that
Yeah.
path. And
Mhm.
like, if this is a really hard space, you know that like the next phase is like a respite or, however that looks. Um, so I'm going to start pulling cards for you while you tell me like what are you, what are you hoping for in the next year?
So I've been like thinking about like a word of the year and like how to like boil all of that down. And like the word that is coming to me is like to settle. Like I have been a chaotic monster for years. Like obviously evident by like I can't even get my scheduling straight. I don't know what day it is. I have weeks where I work to 1 a.m. because I've taken on all these clients, and then I have a month where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll never work again. And I'm really hoping to just get settled. Like, can I have a year that is allows me to like be in my own ambition but also not be insane? Like I really lost sight of who I was this
Mhm,
year,
mhm.
because I did mention boyfriend moved in and he is wonderful, but I am somebody who tends to lose myself in relationships, and I am a caretaker, and so I'll overextend myself to do that. And I also do that in my business as well. Like I
Mhm.
overextend, I take on a lot of clients. I really care and I want to make money. Like I have big, ambitious goals, right? Um, there were a few months this year, pretty much from September to November, I worked 24/7. Like it was like wake up, take out the dog, work, 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 make dinner, work, 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 work. Like I really lost myself. So I'm trying to figure out a way to settle. Like how do I settle into a routine, add more of myself back into my life,
Hmm.
read, run, train the dog, like grow with my boyfriend. Like how do I do all these things and manage my own business at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's an incredible, like, incredible self awareness, like being able to identify these are my patterns and
Mhm.
to stop them, like to be able to interrupt them.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard.
It's very hard. Um, okay. Yeah. So the center, like the focus of a lot of what you've been doing is work.
I think so. Work and just caretaking's maybe not the right word, but I'm the doer. Like I'm the person that's going to make the plans and try to get the friend group together, and I'm
Mhm.
scheduling the date nights, and I'm doing the meal plan, and I'm doing the all and the everything. So I'm just somebody who has my hands in a lot of things, and I need to
Get your hands out
let
there.
let other people rise to the occasion.
And is this something like your boyfriend is aware of? Like, do you guys talk
Yeah.
about it?
Oh, hugely. Yeah,
Yeah.
all the time. I'm like, I need you to do more. I need you to, and he's a boy. Like, I think the patriarchy has done a huge disservice to men, but
Yes.
I think a patriarchy has done a disservice to obviously women, but also men as well. Like they weren't raised and I give a lot of credit to men who are also self aware with that and rise to their own
Hmm.
shortcomings. And he is somebody who does do that. Like he's like, yep, he came home one day and he was like, yeah, I don't do shit, do I? And it was like a light, like, and he was like completely like now he does like dishes without prompting, like he'll vacuum randomly, and so I'm like, yes, thank you. Like so I'm very communicative, like
That's
I'm a
great.
huge like communicator, and he is willing to like show up for that.
That's great. Oh yes, I'm gonna echo you on that disservice piece because I'm like,
Mhm.
there are so many moments I'm like, are we for real right now?
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean,
I've lived
yeah.
with my partner for over 6 years, and we have a child together, and they're just
Hmm.
like, it's like we're finally coming to a place where he's like,
Hmm.
okay, I'm taking care of this paperwork, or
Hmm.
I have a goal to clean or whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, great, but oof, oof, we've been working toward that for a while.
Yeah, oh yeah. Is that are you wearing like a wishbone necklace?
Let's see if you can see it a little bit better.
I think okay, yeah. I have a very similar one. That's
It's
like my necklace that I wear all. I don't have it on right now, weirdly, but I
it's
quite
not a
literally.
wishbone though.
Oh, what is it?
Do you have any other guesses? It's a
I don't.
clitoris.
Oh, really? That's funny. Mine's an actual wishbone, but like now I'm gonna say it's a clitoris. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I just was like, oh, that looks exactly like the one that I wear constantly. Like it's like my little and like not a totem, but like a lucky charm, I would say that
Yeah,
I don't have it on. I've been cleaning today, but
it's definitely my power necklace. Like
yeah,
I
that's so
if
funny.
someone gave it to me, gosh, 2 or 3 years ago now, and I basically haven't stopped wearing
Oh,
it.
it's amazing.
And it's a fun little I think when you see it in person it's more obvious it's not a wishbone, but it's a fun
Right,
little like what's the word, like catch for people if
right.
they're like, oh,
Yeah,
I know what that is. And I'm like, yeah, you
that's
do.
so funny.
It's mostly queer women who get it. And
Hmm.
so that's like always like a good, okay, cool, we're friends. But I had an instructor in school who was like, there's always something about her that was fairly repressed and
Hmm.
just like really tight and like that energy of constriction. And she was like, she stopped and she was like, what is your necklace again? And I was like, girl,
That's
let's not
funny. That's really funny.
play. Okay. Doo-ba-doo. Okay. So the deck I'm using, if you want to note that, is the Gentle Tarot, and this is what it looks like on the box. This is what I'm drawing
Oh,
for. Yeah,
okay.
this creator Mari in the Sky.
Okay.
Mari is her name. She's indigenous. She created this deck when she was living in Alaska, so it's got a lot of like
Mm.
Alaskan
Oh, I love
themes.
Alaska.
And then she created a companion deck called My Friend Fire, which is this is, I love this cover too. It's like,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the one I've been using for the theme card for the year. So we'll have one card that's like the overall
Hmm.
theme, and then we'll have cards for each month. And the I love the core. The decks usually tell me what they who wants to be used. So like these, the Gentle Tarot is just my favorite. But the Fire one has been coming forward as like um, I want to be the theme card, and um, the correlation with that is I think that the next, like starting in February with the Chinese New Year, it's the year of the fire horse.
Mm.
So, like, just context, we've been going through the year of the snake, the wood snake, which is like, there's a lot of shedding, um, and like slow, really.
Hmm.
It's been a very slow year. In tarot, it's the year of the hermit as well. So it's very introspective this whole year. Introspective and shedding, and like thinking about like how the snake sheds its skin. It's a molting process, right? Like this is a process of like, so it starts and you kind of move through it, and then when it's done you're like, oh, I'm letting go of that thing. um,
Hmm.
Whereas the fire horse, a horse is efficient, and fire is it can propel you or it can burn, right? It can and can destroy. So um so just like keeping in mind, and next year is the wheel, is the year of the wheel in tarot. So those are kind of where we're moving from this slow shedding introspective year where that could have been giving you space to like think and breathe, or it could have felt really really frustrating because nothing was moving in the ways that we wanted it to move. And so we're gonna about to hit like a really like a faster pace
Hmm.
where instead of being given the option to slowly let go of something, it's just going to burn away. So just like keeping in mind that letting go next year is going to be more instantaneous, and that makes room for for a really big change to happen. But it also could feel like you didn't have time to say goodbye to that thing. Like there could be some grief around that too. um and then the year of the wheel is really just about it's really about like equanimity. It's about remembering that we even if we're in a high point, the wheel turns again and we go to a different place in that journey. And if we're in the low point, that low point is for a reason. There's for a greater good, because that wheel is going to turn again. That low point will feed us into something else. So it's like we're moving from this like really internal place to this like broad, expansive, and faster moving pace in this next year. Um, so I'll start with the theme cards for you, and it's funny because I have like I create the space for this, and just to like give you some insight too. I always ask the ancestors or anyone in the spirit realm who's in your corner, like who has a loving relationship with you. I invite them in to come forward and let them bring messages forward. Um, so I have a framework for these. Like I'll do that, and I'll like lay out my cards and everything, and then like something subtle shifts. And one of my subtle shifts is that there's two theme cards for the year for like the last handful of readings that I've done.
Hmm.
Um, I think that just like shows like how dynamic this next year is going to be. Is that like we actually need multiple things to focus on. But all right, coming. Oh, actually, I want to send you a screenshot real quick because I've found that some people really like to have this like more accessible to them than just me. And like you don't have to pay attention to the screen as much too if that's annoying to you. So let me get that for you real quick.
Are you just emailing that?
Give me just a second. I'll just grab your phone number and I can, that way it's
Okay.
texted to you real quick. Okay. For the most part, I just want you to feel like you can just sit there and relax if you want, because it's being recorded and like I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna feed it all to you and then you can figure out how you want to digest it later. Okay. Phone number.
205-354-3748.
Perfect. Okay. All right. That should be on its way to you.
Okay. Oh, awesome. Very cool.
Okay. So your two theme cards, very interesting. You have rage.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Okay.
Oh no.
What's your reaction to that?
No. I don't want to rage this year. I want to be calm this year. I don't want to. Like, I just want to settle. I really am tired. I don't
Okay.
want to feel rage toward anybody. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Like, that's my reaction to
Okay.
that.
Okay. But
Oh,
rage is a common theme for you generally.
yeah.
Okay.
I am very justice motivated. Like, I have a
Mhm.
hard time separating my emotions from my business a lot of time. Like, if someone's mean to me, I want to be like, you were mean, but like, business wise, you can't do that. Business wise, you have to say, as per my last email, like, you can't just be like, hey, that wasn't a
Yeah,
nice thing for you to say. Like, you can't
totally.
do it. And so I just get so frustrated, and I
Mhm.
get frustrated with the patriarchy, and I get frustrated with friends, and
Mhm.
it's exhausting, and I'm tired.
Okay.
So
Okay. I hear that. I think some things will start to speak to that too. Okay.
okay.
Here's your card. Free to
Okay.
be. So what I find fascinating about rage is that and I have a kiddo who's a rager, like fire sign, like
Mhm.
just I can see it. I can see the energy building and I can see how they don't know what to do with it. And then they're just like,
Yeah. Hmm.
so I think this is an invitation to shift that relationship because, as I said, I can see it in my 3-year old. I've seen it since like 6 months. Like it's a part of who they are. You can't just pull that out and separate it from them.
Hmm.
And, but you can shift your relationship to it, right? You can make peace with those parts of yourself. And that feels funny when you're like, those parts of yourself are like fiery to make like quote unquote peace. But really, it's this. This is your peace, is like being
Hmm.
free to be yourself and acknowledging that those are all parts of yourself is going to be really powerful. So, right now, it feels like those things are what keep you from connection or what will potentially keep you from being successful in your business or um, are all consuming in some ways. Like there's just this like,
Hmm.
oh, like feeling of like I'm out of control if that part of me has any say. So I think so much of this journey through this year is you're shifting that relationship because this is what you want. Like you want this like peaceful dude who's just like looks like the epitome of settled to me. Who's just like
Yeah.
vibing under rainbows.
Yeah.
Um, so you can have that if
Hmm.
you make peace with yourself. Like it's the you don't get to there's a you can't and you can't change who you are to get to a destination.
Hmm.
That's not the way. The way is to confront the parts of yourself that you find frustrating or upsetting or disturbing. The way is through those parts. And the real freedom is just being who you are. It's not being in any like specific state of it's being who you are, who you uniquely are. And The frustrating thing is like we live in a culture and a society where we are always othering our shadow. Like we are always othering the parts of ourselves that don't fit the algorithm or the narrative. And so it can be really challenging to be like, have this part of me that's not appealing to myself. I'm assuming it's not appealing to other people. And I have to learn to have a relationship with it. Like I have to learn to sit at the dinner table with it. Um, that is in and of itself a journey. So like let's dig into the months and feel free to like stop me at any point if something like I have some of my own narrative and language around this stuff. So if you're like, I'm not sure what that phrase mean or that
Mm-hmm.
what you mean in that context, just feel free to stop me. Because I do tend to just like just talk nonstop once this gets going. So I want to give you that invitation beforehand.
Okay.
Okay, so January, we're looking at the Two of Wands,
Okay.
and you're the more like factual person. You probably know wands is like connected to like magic and creativity
Mm-hmm.
and some of the more ethereal things. Um, and there's like I'm getting this feeling that this is a month that you're gonna feel like some like hope. Okay, I'm on an upward trajectory. I've got like I've got some things I'm holding on to that feel really good that are lighting my path a little bit here. And I'm good. Like there's like this vibe of like, oh yeah, I got this. And it's not to discourage that, but it's also just a reminder that like you're just at the beginning. Um and so, and you're just at the beginning. So have I think the reason that's coming through is like because you'll need to have compassion for yourself when it doesn't feel like you got it. Like there's like this sense of like you're gonna look back at in this there's gonna be this sense like, okay, I've got it, and then you're gonna look back and be like, well shit, did I not have it? Like am I like there's like a sense of regret and or like maybe I misstep, maybe I took a misstep somewhere because like what's next isn't necessarily going to feel like you got it. Um, and I'll just go ahead and share the next two cards. Like this, the reason I'm saying this is like, so you have the High Priestess for February, and then you have Judgment for March. And these are just like next to that card are very dark, shadowy cards. And um, you can look at these in a myriad of ways. That you could look at them as like, ooh, high priestess, yeah, I'm the high priestess. But it's really more, this situation is more that the high priestess is offering you her energy to help you navigate like the shadowy, the dark, like the dark night of the soul kind of vibe. Because like even in that high priest, even this high priestess card, like there's no moon to guide you. This is like truly a dark part of the path. It's where the importance of the year of the wheel comes in because it is only a part of your path. It is not like it's gonna feel real like um where how I went from like being on the hillside and being like being plunged into darkness. Like how did that go from there to here so rapidly? And what did I do? Like, and I don't, it's hard because I don't know what that darkness is or what it's pertaining to, but it's gonna be something that feels like it's all around you. Like and the thing is too, it may not even be any external circumstances. Like this might be a part of like just your inward journey that's happening. And so I don't want to be like, oh, in February your whole life's going to fall apart because That actually really rarely happens, like that our whole life falls apart, but internally it can feel like that. We can feel like we're second guessing everything we're doing, and just not really even sure what the next step is. That's so much of what like the dark path uh, does, is like it really restricts all of your vision, and that includes like your like higher vision, like your ability to like visionary your life. It restricts that to then only the next right step. And the beauty is like you'll be there, but you'll have high priestess energy to like access. So the high priestess is, well, one, it's an owl in this case, and owls are like fucking masters of the dark, you know? Like they have the vision. They hold the vision for you. And so you can access that. Doesn't mean you'll get the vision, but it does mean you can access like the truth that a vision, that the path still exists ahead of you. And then in the like just the priestess energy is very like feminine generative. Like it's a divine feminine. It's not the feminine that's like been corrupted and subjugated and you know, assigned to women in this society. It's like it's this it's like divine nurturing, it's divine creation. So like kind of pulling in some of what you shared about the about being a caretaker and kind of that aspect, it's like I think there's a little bit of that too, of like refine redefine and refine what you mean by the caretaker person. What, because ultimately what you're pointing to is like the nurturing aspect of your feminine. So refine what that means to you. And use high priestess energy to help you like boundary that a little bit more, so that it's not about filling the need for everyone else. It's about standing in what you give, and how that's different. Like when you stand in what you give versus when people like literally bleed you dry and you are, you know, you're up all night like fixing things or taking care of them. Like there's some form of uh it's like you're being your path is being restricted, the view of your path is being restricted way down, so that you can actually decide what is the next step you want. Not just like what is the next step you need to take or have to take or any of that, but like your next step is yours. What do you want it to look like? And then that moves like into the judge into March, which is judgment. Um and I like this to me plays, it still works into that. This is a hugely discerning space for you. So I don't think these are actually separate months. I think these two actually work together through this phase that you're going to be in, where you have the high priestess vision that you can like, it's almost like, don't worry, you got your mom holding your hand. But then you have to learn the art of judgment and discernment for yourself. That this is an invitation to a lesson. So you have the helper in the high priestess, but then you have the lesson ahead of you, which is the lesson of discernment and judgment. And you know, we use judgment like we use judgment so flippantly, but like we often use it as it's in its when it's in its shadow, which is like where we're like harshly like putting things on people that are not fair and not nice. But judgment itself is very neutral, and it can be a very helpful tool. Like it can be a way of learning discernment between what works for you and what is not for you on this path. So this there's like so much potency in this dark space that you're going to be coming into kind of in that late winter, early spring area. It's so potent, and it's like part of that is also that you're going to feel tempted to just like knuckle down and get through it, and like find the carrot at the end, like what can you dangle in front of yourself to just help you. But the reality is it's actually a really potent space for you. And if you engage it, it will it will yield good, like big results for you, like over time, because you're picking up and learning different ways of relating to yourself and to the life that you're creating for yourself. Um, and the reason I think that is because April is like you're soaring on the motherfucking eagle. Like, and eagles are symbols of freedom in our, in our culture. And, um, and also this person is just like, you can just tell, like their arms are outstretched, their head is up, the wind is just like filling them. The only thing anchoring them to this bird is their body, but they have confidence in that. Like they have confidence in the freedom um, that they're navigating. And it's like this deep rooted confidence that they're, um, like no matter how fast it feels, they are not falling off. Like you're gonna, there's something, ooh, can you tell me what your sun sign is?
I'm a Virgo.
Okay. Yeah, that makes so much sense.
I know.
Little worker babies. There's something about April that like things are going to take off, and I don't know what that specifically means, but there's going to be a feeling of acceleration. And I've heard this for other signs too. I don't know if I've heard it for Virgo, but I've heard it for other signs. So I'm wondering about April just like cosmically for everyone, but um things are going to take off, and there's going to be like the work you've been doing prior to this has built up so much confidence that you can ride whatever is coming. And so even if it accelerates, it doesn't feel overwhelming. Like right now, I think like you're in a space where if I told you things are going to speed up, you're like kind of freaking out internally because what you really want is to slow down.
Hmm.
And so you can just trust that's coming for you. The slowdown is coming. Um, it's not going to feel as peaceful as you anticipate, but that's that dark space of February and March. Um,
Can you tell if that's going to be relationships, life, or work? Like, what you can't. There's no
no,
like.
because
Okay.
like the reality is those things are all one. We separate them because we like what we like containers, but in terms of the way we are experiencing our life, everything is in the same pot. And so like if that doesn't feel like it's the case, like if you feel like I only experience work, then that means work is out of balance for you. Like, right? If you're like, oh, I really wish I had, like, how am I going to experience this, like, in terms of friends, work, like, really? Well, that depends because it's your experience. Like, it's really just like the totality of how you're feeling. So it may show up as one or multiples, but the reality is it's you creating the how to say this. So like it's like you're a projection screen. And if you are experiencing like a dark night of the soul, that might show up in my work because that's where you spend a lot of your time, or that's where like you've attached some narratives that don't work for you anymore, like narratives about worth or value, where if those are the things that need to be self-corrected but they're in your relationship, then that's where it's going to show up. Does that make sense? Like
Mhm.
the physical realities aren't so much what's important. It's like what needs to be corrected for you to come back to a state of balance, or for you to evolve and expand. Um, like sometimes what I'll add to that too is like sometimes it's the thing that you've overvalued and the things that you need more time with. It's like though that's the thing that kind of like comes crashing down or breaks or takes a back seat because what you needed to spend more focus on was the other things like that. So it's hard to say because it's going to be it's like your lesson. Where does your um I this is what I'll tell you. I am not getting the sense for you that I'm allowed to know that. Like that this is an empowering part for you to recognize what's coming up for you and address that. I do for some people get a specific. Like so I'm not going to that's not like a universal thing I just say, but
Mm-hmm.
um for you I feel like there's more like there's a balance, a rebalancing that needs to happen and you already know that. So embracing the internal journey is really like gonna support you in that. Okay. Um is that helpful?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. It's hard too because we're like talking about a journey you're about to take. And so like specifics aren't really yet available either because you have a lot of choices to make between now and then. So
mm,
it's like I'm giving you a vibe check, something to like think about when the time comes. Uh and that's like that's partly what I tell people too is like like you're going to have all kinds of thoughts and stuff that come up now, but go back to it when the time comes and then sit with it again and see what it's stirring up for you at that time. Because so much of this is like, again, I'm talking about energies and not necessarily events. And so it's a little harder to conceptualize. But okay, May. We've got the Three of Cups. I always love this card. I love the femmes who are just like, hell yeah, like we got everything hanging out. We're hanging out in the water. Um, so the thing that's sticking out to me too, though, is like even behind the waterfall, there's like a lot of brightness to this card, but even behind the waterfall, there's like that. There's it's dark, um, and the sky is dark. There's a rainbow out in it, which is interesting. Um, so it's like okay, so I will say this: it doesn't seem that the dark part of the path is actually was actually alleviated in April. It's just that there is a different feeling coming through. So there's you're still kind of like really this whole first half of the year is traversing this like darker parts of yourself or the and like darker parts of yourself and darker parts of the path. Um what I love about this card is like you're at this point in the journey though learning to shift your perspective on it and you're finding like beauty and joy in it, which is like that's like one of the big lessons of this dark part of the path is how can you change your relationship to it, and kind of what we were saying about like changing your relationship to rage and like that's a shadow part. So by this point in the path you are there's a peace, you are making peace with it. That doesn't mean like the circumstances are changing a lot. Like there's still a dark part of the path. But you are getting signs with the rainbows that um it just feels better. Like it just feels more hopeful. And I think that's gonna feel like a really interesting shift for you. I do think you're gonna wake up one day and be like, huh, I feel differently about this. Like the circumstances are not different, but I feel different. And that will eventually the inner feeling will eventually turn into an outer um will turn into outer reality, but for now this is very internal still. Although, like, if you find yourself at a waterfall in May, I will like laugh because that would, you can be like, "Whoa, me and my girlfriends were just like out in a waterfall," and then I remembered this card. That is very possible. Okay, and then this is like just like another sign that like you are shifting things. So the six of, or the flower of thunder. So in this deck, the thunder correlates to swords, and flower correlates to the queen energy. And uh so with like thunder and swords both kind of correlating with like thoughts, communication, that realm of things. It's so like, one, it's an eagle. Again, we've got that eagle energy going on, but it's like this bitch is motherfucking in charge. Like she is uh it's like so many of these thunder cards, it's like the lightning is happening to the character. um like here's another, this is one that's coming up for you, but like here's another example. Is like the lightning is coming at this person, they're not necessarily like, it's not like necessarily getting to them, but this eagle has this in its talons, and there's this just sense of like, of a commanding these things that used to like hold you hostage, like thoughts, ideas, narratives. You've role reversed, and it's not by force. This is what you've earned through the dark parts of your path. You've earned the ability to step into like a very empowered feminine perspective. And like you mentioned, like the rage and the things about social justice and the patriarchy, and like that is like, that's a response, that's a responsive place. This is like, I command the narrative now. And I mean, that's not to say you're going to like step out and change patriarchy, but like you're going to move from a place of feeling like those things are happening to you to a place of feeling like I'm, a sense of, it's not control in that way, but it is a sense of like, I'm not a victim to these things. And I can see this from a place of like, we all, like your perspective on it is like, it's not just for you. Like there's going to be this like really powerful impact because your perspective on this shifts. And uh it's also okay that you don't know the steps to get there or like how to make that happen, because that's not necessary. Like that's what this whole, like that's June. So from February to June, that's what you're going to be working for through, is like how to step into an empowered place about these things that you have a lot of passion and rage about. And the thing about being in an empowered place versus being in a receptive place is that when you're receptive, it does feel like you have no control over your response. Like when we're being harmed, we respond how we respond, versus like when you're in, when you're on the flip of that and you're like, I'm able to like I'm able to move through whatever happens with a sense of like empowerment. You get to also choose how the response comes through. So where it feels right now like rage is really exhausting and burning you up, it's true, because you're only receiving and then responding. Whereas when you move into this space, it's going to be like you are in such a place of empowerment that you're actually choosing how that rage gets funneled out of, how you're interacting with it internally, and then how you're using it in the world. So it's like by the middle of next year, your whole perspective on those shadowy ragey parts of yourself is it's a total different, it's a totally different, like it's a totally different vibe. um I don't, this is like, I feel like I want you to frame this one. I just like want you to like, there is something about this, like, there's something about this that you need to keep front and center, like as a guide. I was thinking about pictures the other day. I was thinking about the pictures that we have around our house and how like I used to have a picture of my mom when she was a baby. And I like I kept that up as like a, I don't know, I think I was kind of holding a vigil for the person that she was at one point in her life where she was like innocent and whatever. But I that solidified that vision of her in my brain as like an innocent person. So anytime she did something to me, I just like kind of I like was like, well, but she has this layer under her. Finally put that picture away and I was like, oh, it's like a spell. It like the spell broke. Like, so I think about like pictures now as like images that we hold as like a narrative. And if you hold an image of yourself in the front for the future, it allows you to like move toward that. Like there's something magical about that, that just like, okay, that's the vision I'm moving toward and that I see myself through. So anyway, that's just, find something that feels like an empowered version of yourself and put that in front of you for the next 6 months or whatever, or more. Um, that feels really important. Okay. I see here. We got a good mix. Okay. Okay. So then moving into the second half of the year with July, we have the Root of Cups. Um, so root in this deck corresponds to the like the page in the traditional tarot. So it's very much like it's very much like a young, it,
It wouldn't be the knight.
it would be the,
Like 11 would be the page, 12 would be the knight, 13 the queen.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, because the 10 is the 10, and then the page would be 11, and then the knight would be.
No, I think the, okay, hold on.
Because the
Because,
13 was the queen, right? So 13 being
right,
queen,
right,
the
right,
12
right.
would
Thank
be.
you. Yeah, wait. So something's off. Let me check because the root,
Or is it
because the
king?
root's the bottom, like you don't go any deeper than the root. So let me
Or was the previous one the king of swords?
oh shoot. It is the king. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this one's the
Oh my
page.
gosh, how did I get so off? Hold on.
11. Because like the 10, like a 10 is one of the cards. So
Yeah, yeah,
it would
yeah.
be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
Oh,
wouldn't
right.
it?
It's the seed, then the root. You're right. You're right. It's more of the
Okay, so
night.
it is a knight. It's the
Yep.
knight,
Yep. 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 It's the night. And then the 13
the queen.
is the
Okay.
queen. Root, flower, and then what's the last one? Harvest. Okay. Oof.
Mm.
Harvest is the king energy. Yeah. So flower is the queen energy, more the feminine. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So root of cups. Yeah, more night energy. So it's like and this image too, it's the salmon that they're actually spawning. So this is something I learned from someone I was giving a reading for. When they are all scaleless and their flesh is pink, that means they're actually in the process of spawning. So there's this okay, so like there's a sense that like okay, now you've shifted some relationships, so you have a better idea of what your like vision quest is. But the thing about the night energy too is like, and also with like salmon who are spawning is like, you don't always know what that direction, like how to get there. There's still like taking orders from someone with a little bit more information. So there's kind of this, and then like the salmon, I mean, they're spawning, but then they die, then they like leave their offspring to figure it out. And so it's kind of this like sense of like, um there is still, you're deeply empowered and you still need outside help. And that is also a dynamic and a relationship that will need some shifting. So this is going to feel really, really uncomfortable. I get the sense like that, like being in a place where you don't know the outcome, like you don't know, you know what you eventually want to happen, but you don't know how to get there. That feels like deeply uncomfortable. And so asking for help is going to be really important, but also there'll be some, it seems like there'll going to be some resistance there. Like especially coming off of an energy of empowerment. Like you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Why do I need other people to help me get to this thing I want? But you won't be able to do it alone. Like it won't, nothing, it won't work out. Like you're really gonna have to reach out for your resources. And it's going we talk about these like shifts as if they're like momentous or like monumental. That's the word. But this is, it's a subtle shift. And it will feel more like, it'll feel more like a friend telling you a secret about themselves and you're like, oh, so like you will naturally relate to them different, but it won't feel like you're having to go through a huge shift. It'll be more like, okay, I have to reach out for help. That will feel like, that will feel uncomfortable at first, and then the help comes and it feels good. And so like the discomfort will quickly be replaced by, oh, asking for help is not so bad. Like, and it just kind of will naturally turn that way. Um, but it might, there's going to be some resistance you have to overcome a little bit at the first too, of just like, I'm a motherfucking eagle. Like, why am I down here asking for help? And then you realize help is actually just a big part of the journey. Uh, and then we've got August is the hanging woman in this deck. I actually really love this version of it because she's just freaking flaw. Like she's the hangman version is so, um, I don't know, personally, I get really frustrated with the hanged man because I'm like, and that's the point of the card, right? Is like, you could get yourself down. You look like a fool. Um, but in this version, I love that it's more of an empowered, like, whatever situation you're finding yourself in, like, you can transmute that situation to be what you need it to be. And instead of like in the hanged man version, where like, just get yourself down, like remove yourself from the situation. I feel like this is a little bit more of an alchemical, like you're learning the alchemy of taking your situation and like shifting it into something else that works for you. So even if it's like, I have to work like late hours tonight, like there's something about that you're actually gonna transmute that into a situation that it feels, where it feels like everyone is winning, and not just that you're giving and someone else is getting, because those are very different. It's gonna start to feel more mutual. uh and honestly just joyful, like a lot more joy happening here, which feels like a nice respite after a pretty intense journey you've had up to this point. Like really the whole first half of the year, there's a lot of intensity. And I don't think necessarily because it's like again, outside world outside of you is intense. Like, I mean, I think we're all in for a really intense year, to be honest. But I don't think it's all circumstantial. I think it's a lot of internal work that you're doing. And so when you're getting to this point where you've moved through that whole part of the journey. This is like, uh, don't make it harder than it needs to be in this month, this like August timeframe. Like let it be fun. Let it be fun, let it feel easy. It, even if it's not like what someone outside of you would say is easy, to you it might feel really easy. Just let that be. Like go with the flow, let yourself flow in the breeze, all of that. I don't know, this is funny because she's like flowing in the wind but still tethered to something, and that feels like very how a Virgo goes with the flow. Like you're like able to still kind of move with the breeze but you never disconnect fully. So, and that's good. Like that's you. That's you. That's this whole like theme card. Like you're free to be you, dude. You don't have to do it any other way. Um, okay. Moving into, what is that? That was August. Okay, September. So at September, Three of Wands, and you're getting some of your bigger vision back by this point, but it's different now. So this is where you started the year, like this. I'm moving up. I'm on my upward trajectory. Now your vision is this. Like it's bigger. The horizon is broader. You still have a lot of same elements, so it doesn't feel foreign necessarily, but it's like you've been shifted to a different vision. Um, and so this month in particular, this feels like really a true gift of a month. Like you've done a lot of work leading up to this point. Allow This month is really about allowing yourself to just do mm, this is hard because it's not don't do anything. Like allow the moments of respite that you have available to you. And then, I mean, this is like true, like this is true uh sabbatical energy. Like does that resonate with you? Like sabbatical, does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what the phrase. Yeah,
Okay. um it's like, and when people are on sabbatical, they literally like stop all their work, and I'm not saying like don't have a job, but just plan for space after all of this work. Like build it in now where you can just sit, like front porch, coffee, tea, whatever, stare off into the distance, because like that is where your vision for next steps is going to come. um and because it's different than what you're used to, I think there's two things coming through here. You've done a lot of work and you deserve to rest. That's like one of the main, most important things. You've done a lot of inner work and you deserve a rest. And the resting is how you get to the vision for the next chapter of your life. And it's not that your whole life is going to shift after that. It's not that there's like going to be this whole radical change, but there is going to be some things that you see differently when you come to this point. Like it's like just the subtle difference. Like we can still see a lot of the same elements in January's card as we see in this one. Like they're sibling cards, but if you can tell that like in by September you're looking at that scenery differently, and that's going to make all the difference, because how we view something is how we relate to it. And if you're able to view like your business, your living situation, your relationships, your family dynamics, if you're able to view those things from a different perspective, you change your dynamic just naturally. You shift your dynamic to those things. And the only way to get there is just to fucking sit your ass down and rest. Um so maybe it's like a lot of no's for that month, a lot more time spent enjoying walks or whatever. Like it's a lot less commitment to other people, and it's very much a commitment to your own rest. Okay. All right. So in October, we're going to drop back into a little bit of a shadowy part of our path. This is bringing in the Eight of Thunder or the Eight of Swords. Um, but like again, this is a different relationship to the dark. There's like a this is such wheel of the year energy. Like there's such an embracing here in this. Like you're almost turning to the dark for answers at this point. And I find the dark fascinating in terms of especially like moon cycles and how the new moon is really where we plant the seeds of what we want to grow like in the next 6 months. So there's almost this like you have learned that the dark is a potent space, as potent if not more than the light, because it's actually where you're planting the seeds for the future. And so there's like a little bit of that vibe, like however your vision shifted, you're now like I just get the phrase like releasing it, like you're releasing it you're releasing it to the infinite potential that is life. And that feels different from what you've done in the past, where if you got a vision for something, you just did it, you enacted it. This is a little bit more like, okay, I have a vision for something. I've learned I can't force it to happen. I'm going to trust that I'm co creating this thing. And that's a very deep internal process. So there's like that element of darkness too, is that like this is something that's within you. um I don't know, I don't think you literally need to walk out into the midnight and like I cast my vision into the ether, but like internally you're going to have this place that you come to that says, okay, I have this vision, I trust that it's going to happen when it needs to happen, and that's a shift for you. And even saying it now, like that might feel very uncomfortable to think about. um, so even now, like don't even hold that too closely. Just I think about like this kind of work as like your subconscious already knows these truths and doesn't, if this is not for that part of you, this is to bring the subconscious up into the consciousness so that you can, because the consciousness is generally where we make our moves from. It's where our senses come into, it's how we order the world around us and how we relate to it. So much of this is like we're just bringing something out of the subconscious into the consciousness for you. And so don't, when I say these things of like, okay, at this point you're going to be this way, like that's just for your consciousness to be aware of so that it knows how to direct you like as you make your way through the world. um but yeah, October is like giving real, it's giving real like I plant my seeds and I hope they come up in kind of vibes. But there's also like a confidence in knowing that they will. And you letting go of them is part of the process. Okay. And these next 2 months are feel very there's definitely an empowered confidence that's coming through, and acceptance of what is, like, not an acceptance of anything that we I think we look at acceptance as like, I just have to overlook things and accept that. And that's not what this energy of acceptance about is about. This energy of acceptance is about, I see things exactly as they are, and I accept my place, like I accept my place in relationship to those things. So, for example, like if you have a relationship with someone who's always just kind of like, is that kind of person who's like always just kind of like dealing in microaggressions, like there's always like a slight or a question of your intuition or a doubt that they're planting, like, and I'm not saying this is like a real person, but just like hypothetically, your allowance to right now might look like, I overlook those things and I accept them, or I mean acceptance, I overlook those things about them and I accept them, but your dynamic, your relationship to them doesn't change. Real acceptance is, I see those things about that person, I allow them to be who they are, but I change my relationship to them so that who they are no longer harms me. And that is a different state of empowerment than, like, I see who they are, I overlook it, and I stay close to them. So the 11 is the harvest of cups. And so this is the more masculine, um it corresponds with the king energy, but it's like it's divine masculine. And so it's this ability to hold space for emotional experiences, which we see with the cups. And it's almost like this, like, really well structured container that, so that you feel safe experiencing emotional waves, where that might feel overwhelming or like you're being battered by the waves. This is more of like being in a space of like acknowledgement and acceptance that, emotions come and go, and I can feel them fully as they're here, and I can let them go when they want to leave, versus being like held hostage by them or like captive by them. uh you got a lot again, another rainbow here too, which is like several rainbows throughout the course of this. And I think it's that tie-in to, like, this is like you're reflecting the rainbow at this point, like the hope is not just external or around you, it's like becoming part of who you are. And then the December-ish timeframe is the wheel of fortune, which is the wheel of the year. And that's kind of the I find that interesting when that comes up in the reading, and that's like the theme for the next year, because I do think like the theme, especially like the year of the wheel is an interesting theme for the year, because in this case I think it will take the whole year for you to feel like you've come into that energy of that wheel. Of the wheel of the year is deep. I think it's really deep acceptance energy of like, I accept that the wheel keeps turning. I accept that in this present moment, I can feel and experience the height of this thing and know that it's going to shift at some point. Um, I do want to read the Wheel of Fortune. That one's sticking out. I want to read that from the book for you. All right. Embrace this moment. Let the gifts of the universe rain down upon you. Without fear, receive and know that you are on the right path. The Wheel of Fortune reminds us that there are no coincidences. Every connection is a part of a larger web. All spokes of this divine wheel, each moment dependent on another moment. The flowers don't hesitate to bloom, and neither should we. Every moment is the opportunity for a new beginning, a shedding, and a birth. And like the thing is like about these is like that's going to be December next year. You're going to be flowing into a whole new year process path. You might be at the beginning of one. You might be like moving toward the middle of a new path. Like this is all like everything is fluid. And I think this is a reminder for December that the work you embrace wherever you are on your path, it has good fruits for you. And which is interesting because November is a harvest. So it's like, I think it's a literal harvest for you. Like November, December, I'm getting that those two kind of bleed into each other because I do think it is like a literal harvest blooming space for you where you get to see the fruits of your labor for the year. Um, whether that's like metaphorical fruits, literal fruits, I think it's all. I think it's going to be a really abundant space. And remembering that you brought that to yourself will be an empowering point that you'll carry forward like the Wheel of Fortune, like you'll carry that forward as a lesson that then shapes how you approach the darker parts of your path in the future. It's kind of like coming back to the October card. It's that the you're befriending the shadow. And when you befriend the dark, it becomes a source for you versus a thing to avoid or to scrutinize or other. It becomes actual like it it's alive and it's something to embrace. So that's like a lesson you're going to be carrying forward into the following year, that the darkness is nothing to be afraid of. And if anything, it holds answers for us in a deeper and more powerful way sometimes than the things we collect during the light parts of our journey. So a potent year. I don't know that settling down is like necessarily where you're going to be heading, but there is by the end of the year a feeling of settled. It's not necessarily it's not that it's the antithesis of being busy though. It's more of settling into a deeper confidence in who you are as a being in the world. I actually don't get the sense that a lot of things fall apart for you. Like that's not really what the darkness means. It's like just so internal. But I think by this point next year it's going to feel like the relationships that you do have, relationships to yourself, to your job, to people, places, it's all going to feel more, it's going to feel, it feels really rich and vibrant. like really alive, less exhausting, more alive. Yeah. How's that landing for you?
Um, I mean, it's obviously very opposite of where I thought I was going to be.
Hmm.
So I think that's just,
Where did you think you were going to be?
I'm, this is the year I felt like I just had.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I don't mean to be emotional. I don't know if people have like gotten emotional with you, but like it feels like I just did this and I don't want to do it again.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fair. Are you familiar with like, and yeah, you bring yourself in if you're feeling emotional. This is basically therapy with tarot
Yeah,
cards. Not,
sorry, I didn't expect to be, but
that's okay. That's okay. That's some stuff like that needs to come out. And I what I will say is like, are you familiar with like the idea of that we learn in a spiral, like
Mhm.
a shell spiral, right?
Yeah,
So you you've gone through a level and you're about to go through another level.
yeah,
But the level is shorter and it's easier and you have tools. You're just learning how to use them. Like it's like okay, you picked up some tools on the next level. Now you get to figure out where they come in handy. What circumstance do you so it's way more encouraging to me this year than discouraging. Even in the darker parts, it's like there's some real power coming out of those moments. I think in your experience for this year, that's not how that felt. Like that makes sense. This year is all about darkness. It's hermiting. Like it's literally like staying inside. But also the thing about the hermit is it's carrying a lantern. And so everything it learns in those dark moments becomes a light for its path.
Mhm.
So like even when I say like this whole half of the year is it's like moving through the darkness, it's like it's such a different vibe than
Mhm.
like you're just suffering along the way. It's like
Yeah.
do you have a good relationship like with a grandma parent like grandma figure in your life?
I used to, but she's got dementia now and she's not who she used to be. But I kind of used to,
You-
but not really.
Okay, so imagine like a grandma figure that's like real cozy and like you feel really loved and accepted. You're having a sleepover with her. Like that's what it feels like. You're in bed with grandma and it's like and not in a weird way, but it's like it's cozy. It's dark, but it's cozy and grandma wisdom is with you. Like there's so uh,
I actually did have a question
yeah.
that this reading has felt very like Olivia centered and like I'm going to be doing stuff and I'm going to be internal, but I didn't hear a lot of like my relationships with other people, like things I should be looking out for. Like, you
Mm,
know, obviously this person moved in with me really quickly. Like, we're going to London in April, which actually is funny because that was a good month. I think April was like the
yeah.
more
Well, that's an
light filled month.
acceleration month, so that's funny. Yeah, that'll be
Yeah, so like we're going to London. Like he's like, I want to marry you. Like I'm going to propose in London, and I'm like, you're not. That's cute. Like we're not doing that. That's very fast. But like, thank you so much. But like, you know, I didn't really hear a lot about like I have a friendship that I'm worried about right now. Like I'm
Mm.
not close with my family, so I just think I'm a little hesitant about another year
Oh, you're like
where
this.
like I'm floating alone and I'm not really creating tethers or community or like figuring out like who my people are. And
Mhm,
that is
mhm.
something that worries me also. Like,
Absolutely. I so the yeah, it is a very Olivia centric reading because it is for you, but it's like blah, 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 blah. I think you have good reason to be, I would say, a little nervous about those things, and only because that's the perspective you have on them right now. And what I will say is those things are shifting over the next year, and your relationships become, because you're shifting your internal relationship and dynamic to external things, everything in the external world becomes more supportive. And that's only because you're doing the internal work to build those internal supports for yourself. And like it's kind of like there was like the example I gave of like the friend who's always dealing out microaggressions.
Mhm.
It's like you're coming to a place of recognizing that you don't need to allow people to do whatever they want to you, whether it's in business or friendship or partnership, that you get to be your own person. And then that shifts your relationship to those things. So I'll also add to this year of the horse, of horse fire horse means that if you're worried about a relationship right now and it's like not going well, it's probably not going to exist for very long in that fire horse year, because you're this is a year of tremendous evolution for you, and that's not meant to like overwhelm or burden you. It's not. You're going to be given all the tools you need as the path unfolds. It's a lot more about building trust and confidence in yourself and making friends with those parts of yourself that you're afraid of. It's way more about that. As you do that, the external world starts to mirror the internal world. So any relationships that you're holding, if they don't support you in your evolution, they don't exist anymore by this point next year. That'll just be the reality. But in their place will be more. Like the vacuum created when people leave means people get to come in who see you, who champion you, who cheer you on in every facet of your life. So I think actually the gift of this year is that you have a better support system by this point next year. Like those that part of you that feels afraid, those are parts of you that you're going to be making friends with and loving on, and that love will transform them. They won't be afraid of being alone anymore, and because they were not afraid of being alone anymore, then they won't be alone anymore. Like it's almost like the fear of being alone perpetuates the aloneness.
Mhm.
And April will be interesting, like, whether or not the boyfriend proposes, a trip like that, it brings clarity, like it illuminates things. I don't get the sense that it's bad. Like, I don't
Mhm.
get the sense that that's like, I've definitely got the sense of months I've read for people and I'm like, I think they're getting a divorce. Like that,
Yeah.
like there's something
I
real
don't think it's
heavy.
him. Yeah, I don't think it's him. I actually think it's a friendship, and I think it's like the community that like there are people I know that I want to end friendships with. There are
Mm,
people I wish that it wasn't going to end. Like he is somebody who like entered my life and is just like ride or die. Like he is like, no, I'm here. So I don't think it's him. I actually think it's my best friend, and I think
mm,
that either she's gonna rise to our friendship or fall. And I
mm,
it's devastating. And something that comes up for me in therapy a lot is like once like um I resist healing my anxiety a lot of the time because I'm so afraid of it's been with me my whole life and like who am
mm,
I without it?
mm,
And so the stronger I become, the more fearful I become because I don't know who that person is yet. Like I
mm.
don't know who she is. And I understand that like once I'm settled and like I'll be there. But I think my hopes were that this year that I would and maybe they're the same thing. Maybe I'm not realizing it, but like I had hoped that settling this year meant enjoying my hobbies again,
Mhm.
figuring out who I am, and maybe that is the same thing. Like maybe like what you're saying of like this like empowerment and maybe some of these darker times are just sort of like working out myself coming back to myself.
So,
So
yeah, like uh it's not so much about like coming back to anything. It's about evolving your relationship
mm,
with yourself. So,
mm,
you know, I hear what you're saying about like you felt like you lost yourself, and I would say like you're still recovering, like you're still uncovering yourself. And so it's not so much that you lost yourself, it's that like that's still, you're still in the journey of uncovering and healing. It's interesting you say like that you're resistant to letting go of like this anxious part of yourself. And I would say that's the work too. Like okay, here's what I would recommend. Make a list of all the relationships that you're concerned about that are like on the edge or even just like iffy. Like, I don't know, I'm not sure if I like that person. I'm not sure if they're a good fit for my life. Just make a list of those. Then on the other panel, I want you to make a list of the parts of yourself that you are feeling the same way about. Like that part needs to go. That part needs to, I'm not sure how I feel about that part of myself. Is it supporting me? Like the anxiousness or the rage, like those are all characters of your internal system. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with internal family systems,
Hmm.
that concept. Okay. So it's like you have an internal family too that you have, and they all serve roles. So who are they? What are their roles? And are they like, what's your relationship to them? Love them, hate them, wish they were gone? Like, it's okay to be honest about that. But what I'll say is those parts of, you'll probably find that the two start to mirror each other, that you have people in the real world who reflect parts of yourself in the inner world. And that as you heal the inner world parts, then the outer world parts start to reflect that as well.
Hmm.
The difference though is the internal world, we're loving on those parts. The external world ones, we're drawing boundaries so that we can have space to love ourselves, is really what that reflects on. So big breaths, because this is a big overview reading, right? Like,
Hmm.
you know, we can always we'll drill down on a specific topic at some point. If you want to meet and do that, I'm open to that. um, and that gives you more clarity on like this particular friendship or this particular aspect of my life. This is an overview. This is like I'm, you know, helping you pack your car for your year-long road trip.
Hmm.
And so there are aspects, there's aspects of this you don't know what to do with yet. That's okay. That's why I recorded it for you. So you can go back to it and find that toolbox when it's time to use it. Okay. I want to leave you with though that this is a good year. It's a good year for you. Like it even in the struggles, there's a richness to this year for you.
Hmm.
And I my hope is that you're sitting at the end of it with more quiet confidence than like grief and overwhelm.
Hmm. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think that's I think I won't say inevitable, but I think that's where you're headed.
Yeah, it feels like this is the year I already had. Like I already had such a big transformative year. Like it was already like meeting someone, business had an all-time low, business had an all-time high,
Yeah.
really challenging client relationships, even arguments with friends, friendships sort of dipped and went back and forth, and I just it was a hard year financially. It was a hard year in my space. It was a hard year just with everything. And I was just really hoping not to have another challenging growth year. Like I was
Absolutely.
just very much begging, let me read books. Let me,
Yeah.
and I just, it feels like it's so out of my reach. And I've been trying to get to that place again. Like, how do I get back there? And like, it kind of feels like this reading is saying, like, you're not, like, you're actually going to find a different version of yourself and you're going to evolve in a different way. And so maybe it's like letting go of some of those things or
Mhm.
like evolving those hobbies. Cause like I like to write also. And so like, is it that kind of thing where I just need to look through that.
So
And
use the dark parts of your path to bring your those parts of like bring your reading back in. Bring a writing practice in.
yeah.
Okay? Those are the kinds of frameworks that support you when things
Mhm.
are hard.
Yeah. I think the other big thing is that I have been, like I said, like a caretaker and a nurturer for so long. And I
Mhm.
do a lot of work. I have a tarot practice. Like I care for other people. And I have so desperately wanted someone to do the same for me for the
Mhm.
longest time. Like
Yeah.
I just wanted a year where everybody else showed up for me
Yeah.
versus me showing up for them all the time. And it doesn't sound like it's going to be that year. So I think I'm just, I don't know.
I don't think it's not going to be that year.
Okay.
But I think it's you're going to pull back your energy from showing up for other people and you're going to show up for yourself. And
Okay.
as you do that, and maybe that looks like reading books more, like showing up for yourself means a lot of different things. But as you do that, it changes the dynamic again in your outer experience of the world. Because as you show up for yourself, people show up for you. It's like a trickle at first. So it's hard to see, but it does increase in
Mm-hmm.
volume as the time goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Uh,
I know,
alrighty.
honey. Write down all those things, like all the
Yeah.
things you're afraid of, all the things you're
Mhm.
concerned about, and let your path answer them for you.
Okay. Yeah, I wrote down a lot, so I'll just do some writing and I
Don't
do a lot of
don't Virgo
journaling.
this out into the ground, okay? Like
Okay.
again, this is a tool. It's a tool
Hmm.
for future reference.
Hmm.
Okay? So like whatever however you need to process getting to a place of like okay, I'm ready. Like you have the whole month of January honestly to like
Yeah.
get emotionally ready for something else.
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, so that's a good amount of time and then you'll it's a different feeling when you know it's coming
Hmm.
versus when it just hits you. So,
Yeah, for sure.
but again, don't over like so like if you're familiar with like making bread or dough, like you don't overwork the dough cuz then it's,
Hmm.
just like let it
Yeah.
make itself too.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay.
Well, thank you. Sorry I got emotional at the end,
Girl,
but
do not
it's good.
don't even apologize for that. That is such a part of the process. Like
Mhm.
it's such a part of the process and I tend to have a lot of people with repeat like year ahead spreads because they get to the end and they're like, "Oh shit, that really helped like me navigate different things." So just trust you have some good tools in your toolbox now.
Okay.
And it's not going to be the same year because it never is.
Mhm.
It
Right.
never is.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right, darling.
Okay.
Have a wonderful